experienced one of the highest rates of homelessness in the UK. We're here in New Street Station speaking to the people sleeping rough this Christmas. The first person we spoke to was a man named Robert. He was sitting out, he's been living on the streets for a long time, and he was sat outside a McDonald's. He told us that the reason he was actually on the streets was not because of drugs and wasn't because of alcohol or crime, but actually because at the age of 16 or 17, he found his father dead. And from there, his life spiraled out of control. We actually found that a lot of people we spoke to were in this position. They weren't on the streets because of drug addiction or crime, but it was actually due to loss in the family. Loss has a massive effect on people's lives. Robert also told us that he spends nights on the streets and not in hostels or shelters because he feels that his street noise can protect him where it can't protect young people. He feels that young people need that extra support from the shelters and should be given it over him. This is a massive risk to Robert's health and safety. It's not only the cold, dark, wet conditions that he sleeps and lives in, but also the assaults and violent behaviour that takes place during the nights. We met a man named Will, who after the unfortunate loss of his wife and the collapse of his business, ended up on the streets. He's been there for 3 years and has a lot of knowledge about the hostels and shelters, and he had a lot to tell us.
So you were telling us a bit earlier about sort of what happened, getting sort of attacked in the night, stuff like that. If you were able to maybe elaborate a bit on that for us.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I could show you, not elaborate. The scars on my fingers, I don't know if you can see the scars on my fingers going across there. That was one night when a friend of mine's sleeping bag was set alight and I had to pull it off him, but his sleeping bag stuck to my fingers. That's because somebody, some kind soul, decided to set his sleeping bag on fire by flicking a cigarette on him. That's nothing unusual, that's like a normal everyday thing. Because I believe that homeless people get discriminated against every single day. And that's not me on my high horse. I really believe that this city needs proper funding, really badly. What I suggest is that this council should I say, start flipping putting some funding into support workers. Instead of the mayor of this city going over to Sweden and spending £15,000 to see how they deal with their homeless situation, he could have asked me. I would have told him. The hostels also need to be flipping lowered in this city. There's not one person, not even a working person, who can afford to live in a hostel in this city. £240 a fortnight. That's £240 every 2 weeks. That's without the top-up you have to pay. With the top-up, it's £320. So, even if you was working, you would not be able to afford that. Do you know what? It's only been like the last 2 weeks, I suppose. People have actually noticed me, and I think that's only because it's coming up to Christmas. That's people's own guilt type thing. Oh, there's a poor bloke sitting there and it's freezing cold, let's buy him a coffee. But before that, my God, I was like, I don't ask nobody for nothing. I just say good morning, God bless.
Do you get many people heckling you?
Yeah. But I heckle them back just as much now. I've got to. Listen, I've had to learn how to be cheeky, but not cheeky to the point where I'm going to get my head kicked in. So I used to sit here dead silent with my head down and that. You can't do that, man. Not if you want to be able to drink a coffee on the night.
We also met a talented artist named Rick. He too is stuck on the streets, yet still manages to do what he loves despite his difficult situation. Do you find that people help you? People stop to help?
Most people are nice.
What do you think should be done to help people in your position? Do you think? What could we do? What could the council do?
Get more spaces available for the homeless.
Yeah.
Cut out all the red tape. It's probably the best thing. That's the best thing. The hostels are full now at the moment. So no spaces.
Is it difficult to get access to the hostels and the shelters? Yeah.
It's getting more and more difficult now.
Next we met a man named Henry. Henry travels hours walking from Bearwood to town to get what he needs to make it through the day. A couple of months ago, Henry lost his job due to mental health issues. And without his job, he has no access to the medication he needs and therefore cannot find a new one. Many homeless people have mental health issues that go untreated due to limited access to healthcare and medication. This means they are unable to find jobs, end up stuck on the streets without money. So speaking to Henry, he was so distraught about his condition and everything that he'd experienced that he broke down into tears. This was truly heartbreaking to watch and reminded us that these people that we see on the streets are real people with real stories and real struggles. This year, over 10,000 people in Birmingham will spend Christmas on the streets. Thank you for watching our documentary. We hope that, like us, you've been moved to help change these people's lives and stop this number from growing.